Hi there, my name is Rosie and today I will be discussing the uses and abuses of architectural heritage. The concept of heritage on a global scale is not set with clearly defined boundaries. This can be seen in most local town planning documents relating to heritage buildings and their seemingly unclear and contradictory requirements within them. What heritage regulations aim to do is to serve as a guardian for historical objects, as well as cultural, traditional, political and economic components which collectively form the now. This presentation seeks to reveal the effects of history and nostalgia in terms of architectural heritage and whether the influence serves or hinders architectural evolution. Early memory studies by Walter Benjamin discovered a link between memory and object, and fast-paced consumerism and capitalism effectively erased the past from memory. The world seemingly sped up, leaving no room for remembering the past. In the mid-19th century, this led to an influx of museums and memorials which effectively institutionalised nostalgia and caused the past to become known as heritage. In terms of objects, this is where museums became so popular. They became important places to slow down, appreciate and remember the past through the representation of objects, as if the ritual of commemoration could help patch up the irreversibility of time. Nostalgia initially seems to be a feeling of loss and longing for a specific place, but it is actually a craving for another time. Perhaps a simpler time from childhood, a time where the world moved so slowly that it could be savoured and appreciated. Boehm states that nostalgia is a sentiment of loss and displacement, but it is also a romance with one's own fantasy. Remembering and reflecting on the past can be useful in modern design. Historical research leads to the discovery of the language, habits and conventions essential for a design which tells a story and evokes specific feelings within its inhabitants. This code is almost always found in the past. Reflective nostalgics, as referred to by Boehm, tend to cherish ruins and view them as important in keeping history alive and not forgotten. This is seen in heritage buildings which have been reused, recycled or refurbished to preserve that history, whilst making them habitable once more. This is in contrast to the views of Kavanagh, who suggests that architectural heritage can be perceived as merely a recycling of outdated styles, a lack of design skills or imagination, and generally backward. The modernist movement of the 20th century saw buildings which were never designed to be preserved. They were made for the fast-paced consumerist culture. In essence, they were the architectural manifestation of consumerism. This culture altered our approach and the importance placed on protecting and preserving historical structures. The default status became demolish and rebuild. This is something we still witness today regarding the architecture of the 1960s, which was so influential in shaping the baby boomer generation. 60s architecture is currently stuck in the awkward period between past and present, where it is not yet appreciated or even acknowledged as important or worthy of protection. On a personal note, this is something noticeable in my hometown of Tom Price. At first glance, the architecture is nothing special, barely worthy of preserving. But once we discover the history and previous uses of the different structures, it becomes clear that these buildings all tell a story of the past, what was and what can be. I think Marga had it right when he suggests that the appreciation of the architectural and historical interest in buildings of a certain era increases with temporal distance. Preservation of architectural heritage is both a public and political issue. We look to the past for inspiration when attempting to reinvent the future, yet preservation of the past keeps that heritage alive, understood and connected to the present. Whilst heritage may involve an element of nostalgia and romanticism, provided it does not become obsessive, It acts to inform and enhance future design by telling a story and providing a code which can be read well into the future.